This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit TemptationsTreats.com to learn more.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I felt that it was needed to explain what early access is and what a tech demo is, because I feel that there are a lot of developers that are putting out tech demos and wanting to call it early access. But my problem is with that, with these games coming out and they got that early access tag on it, is that they charge money for a game where it's not a game, all right? Like, that's one thing for sure. And I'm like, if you're going to give people early access to your game, I need to get early access to your game, not a tech demo. If you want to put out a demo, fam, the thing is this. It seemed like it would make more sense to put out the demo, all right? Have it where, if there's let's say it's a shooting game, for an example, right? Have it where you put out the demo and you put out, but later on you put out the game when it has more content. Like, so for an example, if you put out a shooting game and all it is PvP, but down the road you're going to add a campaign mode and a co-op mode and a zombie mode and a practice mode and a battle royale mode. Like, you plan on that and all these different modes, all these different characters, all these different weapons and all these, cars, whatever you want to add. My thing is this, charging $40 because, we put out this nice trailer. No. That should not be the reason on why you're slapping a $40 price tag on a game. The reason why you should be slapping a $40 price tag on a game is because we're playing a game, all right? Now, when I think of early access, I think of, like, let's say it's like Universal Studios, for an example, and they're giving you early access to the Mario ride. Now, imagine if you're going on that Mario ride, right? And it's, let's think of something. They only have you go like maybe 2-3 feet, cause it's not really a roller coaster, but it's kind of like a ride where cause I've been on the Mario ride and they have it where you're like shooting at all these different things, but they got you on these like Mario Karts and stuff. But yeah, let's say that they have it where you go 2-3 feet, but the thing is this, rather than just saying like, try out the ride for free, be a person that kind of gives it a review and talks on it a little bit early. That's what I think of when I think of early access, right? Or even if there is on some stuff where they do have you pay for it, regardless, it's still going to be a finished product, all right? Now, yeah, there might be some things that they're going to add or they might change up, but at least when they're having you test out the whatever it is, the Mario Kart ride, at least if they're having you test it out in some early access fashion, the ride is going to be completed. Or they're going to do some stuff where they just show you what it's going to look like and you still don't have to pay no money. So that it really trips me out because so that was the main motivation behind this episode. So I played this parkour game that came out last night, right? And that game, it really inspired me to do this episode because I really feel games like that. What's the name of that game? Hold on for a second. Store Parkour Pro. Now, this game outside, because right now it's on sale for 17% off. It's $24.89. After that, it's going to be $29.99. My problem is with that game. And so, no, and here's the thing. The funny thing is there's another game that just recently came out called Enjoy. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with that game. I'm going to compare both games. Now, yes, I know that they're two different games, but I'm going to compare both games for the sake, as far as like content-wise, all right? So anyways, Store Parkour Pro, I seen a trailer for this game a long time ago, and I was instantly hooked. I'm like, this game is going to be amazing when it comes out. but then I seen that it was coming out in early access. I like how at one point in time, early access meant that, yeah, you were just playing the game early, but a lot of the content was there. Now it's like when I see that early access tag on a game, I mean, if the game is free, then I'm like, okay, cool, because there is this one game that's coming out where it's called Paradise, and it's supposed to be this open world, free roaming game and stuff. And but no, they just said that game's gonna be free to play. I think maybe down the road they might add a price tag to it, but they probably know that, hey, look, we need to make a good first impression. So the best thing that we could do is make it to where, yeah, if this game is buggy and glitchy day one, we're going to have it where this game is free to play versus, oh, let's have it where you pay 24, how much was that store parkour game? $24.89 if you catch it while it's on sale, and then outside of the sale $29.99 to have it where your character is just running from building to building. Like, don't get me wrong, the physics of that game, amazing. Graphics, amazing. Everything about Store Parkour Pro, it seems like that it's a game where down the road it seems like that it would be a good game, but for now that game should have not came out. To that game, they should have waited on it, and I think that they should have like added a little bit more content, because they said that character customization was going to be in that game. They said challenges. Let me just click on the thing real quick to see what they said that they were going to add. So they was like, all right, so escape of reality, real movements, okay, cool. Complete control, okay, cool. Dynamic open world, okay, cool. Mission, challenges, and escapes. Online multiplayer. Those are the two things that they have in the description of this game. So you're thinking, okay, this game, they're gonna add that when it day one of the game coming out. The only challenge I think that I had came across was this time trial challenge, where they have you like, so you run through this thing, and or it's just you're running through a bunch of different things. But then on top of that, like the controls, it's definitely something that you guys spend a little bit of time with, talking controls. But other than that, I'm like, bro, where's character customization? Then they have it where you add NPCs. I'm over here thinking, okay, it's other NPCs that's doing some parkour stuff. No, it's just NPCs just walking around mindlessly. Like, it seems like, if you guys had seen that movie, The Invasion of the Body Snatchers, that very end point where all the aliens had took over the world and stuff, and how they were just mindlessly walking around, that's how they look in that Store Parkour Pro game. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this ain't fun, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, like, the controls, all that stuff, like, yeah, at some point in time, it can be a good game. But there have been times where I have bought games, and it's in early access, or the developers are actively working on it or whatever, and they've given up, and I'm stuck with the game. There's numerous games that I'm stuck with where I'm like, I really do wish that I could get my money back, but I can't. I'm stuck with that game. Let me just hold on for a second. I know there was the one game, True or Die Chirac. I can't remember the last time they came out with an update surrounding that game. Hold on for a second. Let me just see. True or Die Chirac. No recent activities. Nothing's loading up for that game. And they don't even say when was the last time they came out with an update for that game. Let me just see. View update history. No updates found. See all posts? No, nothing. And that was a game where it was supposedly supposed to be in early access. And I'm thinking to myself, like, fam, you guys can't do that. You can't just come out with a game and just give up on it and stuff, Like, I find that kind of, scammy and things. So, but I'm trying to think, like, because I have a long list of games. So I'm like, I would, yeah, there's just one too many games. There's even games where it's like they make it seem like that early access is like, oh, you gotta wait until the game is completed and all that stuff to fully appreciate it. And there's been times where the developers don't really do nothing, and yeah, they might add like some maybe some new modes or something like there, because there was the one game, Undisputed, where I'm like, that game should have stayed in early access, because if that's the final product, you guys got this game in stores. Like, no, bruh. The thing is this, that's one thing that I will say. I think there's a lot of developers that do take advantage of that early access tag, because I'm like, fam, that's not early access. That is a tech demo. And so here's the thing, because I know people probably would ask me, like, is there a actual legitimate difference between early access and a tech demo? A tech demo, how I've always viewed tech demos, or just overall demos are free. You don't ever pay for a demo. I think the one and only time where I paid for a demo, but I feel like that you was getting so much. Like I'm saying, like it was kind of worth it. But anyways, I remember when PlayStation, they used to sell these magazines back in the day. And they will have it where there was like all these demos pre-installed on these discs. I really do wish that I would have kept those discs. I don't know what I was thinking throwing them all away. But I mean, there are some games I think I would just have to do that is just go and get the games that were from that from them PlayStation magazines, because yeah, there was a lot of good games. I was like, no, there was a lot of good games that they had in them PlayStation magazines. But anyways, but no, so they have it where you paid like maybe hold on for a second. Because I know I do have a magazine somewhere, and I was like, I remember I just kept it out to look at it and stuff, but I must have put that magazine somewhere, because I'm like, now I can't even find it. All right, oh well, and I ain't tripping about it. But anyways, I don't know if you guys can hear me when I went across my room. If you could, cool. If not, then I do apologize for stepping away. But anyways, but yeah, overall, it was like they PlayStation had these magazines. They had these demo discs in there. It came with all these different demos, and the demos were fun. But the funny thing is that there was at times where I felt like I would play those demos and comparing it to gaming today and their quote unquote early access games. I felt like that had got more out of them demos than I did with games today. Like having it where Wreckfest 2, that game just recently came out and it's in early access, and they have it where there's pretty much like it's limited content. You know, same with Assetto Corsa Evo. When that game very first came out, like, yeah, they do have like the driver's license thing. They did say like how the game is going to be planned out. Excuse me, where towards the end of the year, they do plan on, I think, like fully releasing it and add all the content. But I'm like, why not just release it then? It's not like you guys are going to lose out on your fan base, you know, if you don't release a game early. It's like, fam, the thing is this. If you're going to release a game in early access, it needs to be at least 60-70% of the content added into the game. But it seems like nowadays they want to add like maybe 10, 15, maybe even 20% of content in the game. And then they're expecting me to wait years down the road to finally play whatever game it is that you're trying to put out. I'm not trying to wait no years down the road. Because there's been games that's been sitting in early access for years, bruh. And I'm like, fam, that is not... The thing is this. If it's a game that got a lot of content, cool. And they just want to make sure that they add all the content that they want to add, cool. If it's a fully functional game, cool. But if it's an early access game that's been sitting in early access for a long period of time, and you guys ain't trying to do nothing to improve it, change anything about it, I'm like, bro, that's not cool, man. That's not cool at all. All right, let me just look at some games real quick. Dang, Enjoy is already... Well, you know what? Let's just talk on Enjoy real quick and all the different stuff that you can do in that game. So even them just showing the trailer, you can celebrate... So no. Hold on for a second. I'm kind of jumping the gun. So let's just talk character customization, because I feel like character customization in Enjoy, it's some deep in-depth character customization. Like you literally can make... I seen people make Michael B. Jordan, didn't really look like Michael B. Jordan. Maybe if it was like if Michael B. Jordan was around during the PlayStation 3 era, then I feel like it could have been a good Michael B. Jordan lookalike. But anyways, yeah, I've seen where people have been creating celebrities, like famous people and all that stuff. But then no, that's something that they have in there, is that they have like this 3D printer feature where you could, so like let's say for an example, you want a Versace jacket or something, right? You can add that into the game. You want a pair of Air Jordans for your character? You can add that into the game. You want to rock a TMossBoss hat? You can rock that in the game, all right? So that's just with character customization. They have it where you can customize how the shirts look, the designs, different, like all these different things with the clothes, shirts, pants, socks, shoes. I'm saying like it has a very deep character customization like settings or features and stuff. So anyways, then they put you in the game. They give you the choice of living wherever it is that you want to live. You have whatever house you want to have. It really doesn't even cost you anything to be moving around. I've already done moved 3 different times in that game. I moved into these apartments, then I moved into this one house. I realized that the house had some weird neighbors. Like, no, the crazy thing about it was that, so in that game, just kind of giving you guys a little bit of a story time within this episode, I've proposed to my Enjoy wife in the game, right? I go and move into this house, not realizing that it has like a roommate system thing, right? So I move into this house. I go to lay down in the bed to go to sleep because my character was getting tired. Why did this random woman, or I guess the roommate, why did she felt the need that it was okay to sleep in the same bed as me? And I'm like, you're trying to get me caught up with my virtual wife. I'm like, no. What I did is I woke up from that sleep and I moved. I found like it was a big giant open land. And yeah, they have it where you can change your house even after you built it. You can change it to another settings, or even if you want to sit down, take the time to design a house, you very well could do that too. Right now I'm currently going through my Enzoi's wedding. Yeah, the game, I'm saying, then it was in the trailer, it looked like that you get to use celebrating Christmas. What other things are you doing in there? You get to work out, you get to like, it's really, I would have to say, like, they took that like Sims, like just that classic Sims game, and they made it into something amazing. It even got to the point where even the Sims had to show love to the game. Cause I'm like, honestly, that my thing is this. I would have to say for EA and the Sims, that's honestly the best thing that you guys can do. Don't spread no hatred towards that game, cause all that's gonna do. And then I know people will probably ask that question too, like, what about the Sims? Yeah, they got it where their game. So Enzoy, that game is $39.99. Worth it. I will say that much. It is definitely worth it versus The Sims. Yeah, that game is free, but if you want DLCs for that game, it's going to pretty much be $900. And I'm like, that's what I mean. Like, there's games that are not even in early access where they're just, it's like, bro, what do you have going on? Like, that's not normal and stuff. But I would say that Enjoy, that falls in that it's an actual early access game because they've given you pretty much a lot of the content. My thing is this, if they consider that like 10-20% of the content, then I'm like, wow, if that's 10-20%, I would love to see what 100% is going to look like with this game. But that's a game where I'm willing to sit down, take my time, and be patient with it because they've given you a lot of content to play. There's all these different things you can do and get yourself into versus let's just look at some of the early access games right now. Yeah, that Store Parkour Pro, I'm like, don't really give you a whole lot of content in that game. Let me see some other games that's in the early access. Wreckfest 2, same with that. Let me see some other games. There was this one game that I had just recently played that's in early access, and I was like, I wish they would have added a little bit more content, but it's this game called Motorcycle Night Ride. They just got you going down the freeway. Like, there ain't really no real objective with that game. You're just a guy on a bike going down the freeway. And I'm like, I think there should have been a little bit more than that. All right, but anyways, let's see some other games. Flat Inside Simulator, I didn't really play that, but based on what I was seeing with the game, it seemed like it was a game that was more of a tech demo, or if anything's like, I don't know, maybe it's a good game, maybe one day I might sit down and play it, but from what I heard, I was like, it's one of those games where I'm like, I avoided it. I left that game alone because I'm like, I'm not going to I ain't gonna fool around with a game where I'm like, look, if you guys say that if it's supposed to be in this settings, then I'm like, bruh, it needs to be in that settings. And I feel like with that Flat Inside Simulator, like, it just, I don't know, I wasn't really a fan of what I was seeing with that game. Maybe it might be a fully functional working game and stuff, but if not, then I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things where I think with Steam, Xbox and PlayStation don't really be focused on no like early access. I know Xbox do have like games like in that early access stage, but they're like, because I think the one game Pal World, I know Pal World is in their early access thing, but overall I'm like, yeah, that's a game that got a lot of content and stuff. So, but anyways, let me think of I'm trying to think of some other games that's on there. I can't think of no other games, but yeah, overall I think that's what they need to do though, is have it where there's a tech demo area, and they need to have it where it's like, if you you need to overall say how much percentage or how far along you are, then we'll put the game in the tech demo, and I think that would be a perfect idea. Put the game in tech demo stage where it's like we can download the game and play the game for free. Then when you add a little bit more content, then that's when you guys put the game in early access. And then but you got a certain amount of time to add whatever it is that you want to add to make it into this. So yeah, like an alpha, beta, and then then the final product and stuff. So yeah, alpha, that's when you have it where it's like we get to just download the game for free and just kind of see what the controls is like and all that stuff. You get feedback from the fans, and then you overall add whatever it is that we wanted to the game. Once when it gets to a certain percentage, then that's when you go and then you put the game from tech demo to early access. Then that's when you slap whatever price tag. Can't be a pricey price tag though. All right, you put a decent so early access where it's like, okay, $5 to get in or something, and then once you add all the content that you need to add, then that's when you go and have it where the game is in like $30-$40 price tag or something like that. So I'm like, at least then it's like I feel like that developers will hear this and they will say, well, we wouldn't make all the money that we're trying to make. My thing is this, all right? If you have it where the game is working and it's a good game, sit down. All right, let's just sit down and think about this, right? So yeah, let's say that a lot of people overall buy the game for $5, but that's just the people that are seeing the game on Steam. Now sit down and think about it where you got guys like, if we're talking Wreckfest 2, right? You got guys like Slap Train. You got people like myself. I may not be a big creator, but I feel like I play somewhat of a part in the racing community. I played a lot of different racing games. But overall, though, yeah, you got guys like Slap Train. Let's say you get guys like PewDiePie, Sidemen. You get just overall some big name Twitch streamers and stuff like Kai Cenat. Plague Boy Max and stuff. Let me think of some other. But yeah, you have it where these guys are playing your game. Like that's just those communities. That's just YouTube and Twitch. Then imagine you throw TikTok into the mix. I guarantee and I promise you, you will make a lot of money if you guys were to do things that way. Rather than, let's just put the game in early access and have it where, because there was one game that I remember playing a little bit of where I was all like, yeah, they kind of did what I'm pretty much talking about, but it's this game called Vane, I believe. I think it's either, I think it's Vane or VN. I don't think VN don't sound right. But anyways, let me look it up real quick. Yeah, I think it is this game called Vane, and it's the zombie post-apocalypse game. And they have it where you can download the demo, but the demo, it's pretty much it's its own game. Like, it ain't no situation where it's like, they only limit you to what you can do and stuff. Like, no, they have like a lot of content, a lot of different stuff. My character was almost blind, like he couldn't see at all. But no, it's one of those zombie apocalypse games where I'm like, nah, man, it was pretty good. I was like, I should go back and play that game again because it was pretty decent. I liked it, and for it to being a demo, I was like, that was a pretty good demo. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. I'm gonna go ahead and call it with this episode right now. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.